的长期发展充满信心。
New products have been highly recognized by professional media in Europe, and the user satisfaction rate has also reached our expectations. After obtaining the prestigious Golden Steering Wheel Award, ET7 was honored with multiple awards in Europe, such as the Technological Front Runner of the Year at the Danish Auto Awards, Car of the Year and the Best in the Luxury segment by Auto Motorsport Sweden, and the Promise of 2023 by the Association of Business Drivers in Netherlands. On January 31st, 2023, we started to deliver EL7, our mid-large smart electric SUV, to the first batch of users in Europe. As we continue to introduce a more diversified product portfolio, expand our sales service and power network, improve our brand awareness, we are confident in our long-term development in Europe.
在自研电池、AD 芯片、大众市场品牌等战略新业务的研发方面，总体进展在按计划推进。
The R&D efforts of our strategic new businesses, including batteries, AD chips, and mass market brand, are also well on track.
未来的发展离不开用户一如既往的支持。2022年一共有4447位用户志愿者投入到车展、NIO Day 等活动中。未来用户也在积极为社会贡献力量，志愿者公益活动达到6204人次。
The development of NIO wouldn't have been possible without our users' continued support. In 2022, 4,447 users volunteered at auto shows, NIO Day, and other events. NIO users have also been actively making contributions to society with the participation of public welfare activities, reaching 6,204 people times in 2022.
1月18日，企业爵士发布的2023年全球最佳可持续发展企业100强的榜单，在企业爵士设置了包括零部件在内的汽车和卡车制造业类别的233家企业中，蔚来排名第一。与此同时，2023年1月31日，蔚来第二先进制造基地正式成为中国首个获得工业绿色建筑3星设计和 LEED Gold 双认证的电动汽车制造基地。
On January 18, 2023, NIO was recognized in Corporate Knights 2023 Global 100, the world's most sustainable companies list. Among 333 companies in the car and trucks manufacturing, including parts category, NIO ranked first. In the meantime, on January 31st, 2023, NIO's second advanced manufacturing base was certified 3-star green building and LEED Gold, marking the first of its kind in China.
蔚来高度重视低碳发展、环境保护与生态共建，并积极践行可持续发展理念，持续提升 ESG 表现和实践。
We attach particular importance to low carbon development, environmental protection, and ecosystem co-construction, and actively practice sustainable philosophy to continuously improve our ESG performance.
2022年，我们围绕未来的长期竞争力，在核心技术和产品研发、充换电和销售服务网络布局、全球市场开拓等方面坚决投入，并取得了重要进展，为公司的长远发展奠定了坚实的基础。
In 2022, to build our long-term competitiveness, we made decisive investment and achieved positive strides in the research and development of core technologies and products, the deployment of charging and swapping infrastructure, as well as the sales and service network, and the global market expansion, laying a solid foundation for the company's long-term growth.
2023年，随着 NT2 平台全系产品的发布和交付，我们将全力以赴为用户提供超越期待的体验。同时，我们将致力于执行效率的全面提升，以敏捷高效的工作节奏参与全球电动汽车市场的长期竞争。
As our product portfolio transitions to NT 2.0 with more new products to be launched and delivered in 2023, we will do our level best to provide users with experiences beyond expectations. At the same time, We aim for all-round execution efficiency improvement so as to compete in the global EV market in the long run in an agile and efficient manner.
感谢大家的支持。现在 Steven 将为大家介绍2022年第4季度的财务业绩，有请 Steven。
As always, thank you for your support. With that, I will now turn the call over to Steven to provide the financial details for the fourth quarter. Over to you, Steven.
Thank you, William. I will now go over our key financial results for the fourth quarter of 2022. And to be mindful of this length of this call, I will reference to RMB only in my discussion today. I encourage listeners to refer to our earnings press release, which is posted online for additional details. Our total revenues in the fourth quarter were 16.1 billion RMB, representing an increase of 62.2% year-over-year and 23.5% quarter-over-quarter. Our total revenues are made of two parts: vehicle sales and other sales. Vehicle sales in the fourth quarter were 14.8 billion RMB, representing an increase of 60.2% year-over-year and 23.7% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in vehicle sales year-over-year was mainly attributed to higher deliveries as a result of a more diversified product mix offered to our users. The increase in vehicle sales quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to volume ramp-up of the ET5 and ES7. Other sales in the fourth quarter were 1.3 billion RMB, representing an increase of 90.3% year-over-year, an increase of 22% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in other sales year-over-year was mainly due to the increase of revenue from rendering of research and development services and increase in other revenues in line with the incremental vehicle sales. The increase in other sales quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to the increase of revenue from rendering of research and development services and increase in sales from accessories, charging piles, and used cars in line with the incremental vehicle sales, partially offset by the sales of automotive regulatory credits in the third quarter of 2022. Gross margin in the fourth quarter of 2022 was 3.9%, compared with 17.2% in the fourth quarter of 2021 and 13.3% in the third quarter of 2022. The decrease of gross margin year-over-year was mainly attributed to decrease of vehicle margin. Decrease of gross margin quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to decreased vehicle margin, and the decrease in other sales margin mainly resulted from the sales of automotive regulatory credits with high gross margin in the third quarter of 2022. More specifically, vehicle margin in the fourth quarter was 6.8%, compared with 20.9% in the fourth quarter of 2021 and 16.4% in the third quarter of 2022. The decrease of vehicle margin year-over-year was mainly attributed to, first, increased inventory provisions, accelerated depreciation on production facilities, and losses on purchase commitments for the existing generation of ES8, ES6, and ES6 that are expected to have lower production levels and deliveries due to the transition to new models on the NIO technology platform 2.0, which in totality negatively impacted vehicle margin by 6.7%. And second, increased battery cost per unit. The decrease of vehicle margin from the third quarter of 2022 was mainly due to the increased inventory provisions, accelerated depreciation on production facilities, and the losses on purchase commitments for the existing generation of ES8, ES6, and EC6. R&D expenses in the fourth quarter were 4.0 billion RMB, representing an increase of 117.7% year-over-year and 35.2% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in R&D expenses year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was attributed to the increased personnel costs in research and development functions, as well as the incremental design and development costs of new products and technologies. SG&A expenses in the fourth quarter were 3.5 billion RMB, representing an increase of 49.6% year-over-year and 30% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in SG&A expenses year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was primarily due to, first, the increase in personnel costs related to sales and general corporate functions. Second, the increase in marketing and promotion activities to promote our vehicles in China and Europe. Third, increased expenses related to the company's sales and service network expansion. Loss from operations in the fourth quarter was 6.7 billion RMB, representing an increase of 175.5% year-over-year and 74% quarter-over-quarter. Other income net in the fourth quarter of 2022 was 315.7 million RMB, representing an increase of 262.2 million RMB from the fourth quarter of 2021, and an increase of 811.3 million RMB from other losses of 495.6 million RMB in the third quarter of 2022. The increase of other income year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to the gains from the revaluation of our overseas RMB-related assets as a result of the appreciation of RMB against its donors in the fourth quarter of 2022. Net loss in the fourth quarter was 5.8 billion RMB, representing an increase of 169.9% year-over-year and 40.8% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss attributable to NIO's ordinary shareholders in the fourth quarter was 5.8 billion RMB, representing an increase of 168.3% year-over-year and 41.2% quarter-over-quarter. Our balance of cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash, short-term investment, and long-term time deposits was 45.5 billion RMB as of December 31st, 2022. Now, this concludes our prepared remarks. I will now turn the call over to the operator to facilitate our Q&A session.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel a request, please press star then 2. If you're on a speakerphone, please pick up your handset to ask your question. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, please limit yourself to 2 questions. And if you have additional questions, you can re-enter the queue. Our first question today comes from Tim Day with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
管理层你好，非常感谢接受我的提问。我现在2个问题啊。那第一个问题是有关于就是零部件供应链跟这个量。就是去年其实这个年底的时候，蔚来整车的交付呢，我们看到受到这个零部件，比如说金副车架、EDS 跟摄像头芯片的一些前置啊。那根据这次这个财报1季度的指引，显示3月份的这个交付还是偏弱。那是否关键零部件的供给呢？目前看起来还是有一些瓶颈。那是不是可以请管理层分享一下最新的情况？那目前零部件整体的这个匹配 最高的这个整车的月度和周度产出的数量大概是多少？那我们在二季度大概会看到什么样的一个改善？这是我的第一个问题。So my first question is about the supply chain and also the volume, because NIO's shipments last year were seriously dragged by the supply bottleneck of aluminum parts, EVS, and chips. So according to the announcement of NIO's first quarter volume guidance of 31 to 33,000, also suggests more moderate vehicle sales in March. Is that because some components are still suffering from supply constraints? What's current vehicle production run rate and how fast you could ramp up on weekly and monthly base into second quarter? 好，这是我的第一个问题，谢谢。
谢谢 Tim。去年的四季度确实因为零部件的供应影响了我们一些车的交付。但你也知道，这个今年的一季度，这个从1月份开始，事实上中国的这个疫情的管控，疫情的整个这个基本上已经结束了。所以目前来讲的话呢，我们的零部件的供应总体来说已经不太是一个瓶颈了。那我们当然这个在二季度开始，随着我们新车的这个交付，在初期的话呢，我们会有一些爬坡这样的一些挑战。但从全年来讲的话呢，如果以现在的情况来讲的话，我们认为这个供应方面的这个压力对我们来说是会大大的下降。从目前来讲，不太会成为我们的一个制约因素。
Thank you, Tim, for your question. In the fourth quarter of last year, the supply of the parts have affected our vehicle deliveries to some extent. But starting from the first quarter of this year, we have seen that the control and prevention measures regarding the COVID have been lifted. So currently, we believe the supply of the parts is not the bottleneck for us. Starting from the second quarter, we believe with our new vehicle deliveries, we will need to have some time to ramp up the production, but we don't believe the part supply will be a constraint for us.
好的，那谢谢。我第二个问题是有关于可能毛利率跟这个电池的价格，因为第一就是我们看到四季度毛利下降比较明显。好，那这个公告里面提到毛利率这个6.7个点的影响多少是一次性的，多少是会延续到一季度。那同时间今年的好消息可能是电池降价吧。那就是和宁德采购这个长期采购的合作以及电池成本降价之后，这个对于集团利润的一个贡献。那因为之前可能威廉这边有提到，就是碳酸锂价格每变动10万元会影响未来这边2个点的毛利。好，所以我们在和这个电池厂谈判的话，这一块对于我们全年大概会有一个多大的贡献？这个是不是可以请您分享一下 ？So my second question is about the battery cost and also the gross margin, because the fourth quarter vehicle gross margin dropped more significantly. So we think the 6.7 percentage point margin shortfall mentioned in the announcement, how much of that would be one-off? And how much of that would be lasting into first quarter? And in the meantime, on the bright side, I think battery prices should go well to the vehicle margin, NIO's vehicle margin this year. So how should we think about the contribution from the renewed battery contract prices? Because I recall that William mentioned every 100,000 RMB decrease in lithium carbonate will lead to about 2 percentage point vehicle gross margin expansion. So could you please share some updates regarding how much more contribution from the lower battery cost should we expect this year or in first half? Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. This is Danny. First, I want to further clarify the Q4's 2020's gross profit margin. Since our brand new ES8, ES6, E6 will start user delivery in Q2 2023. So we lower our order forecast for current generation ES8, ES6, and EC6 in Q4 2022. So inventory provision and losses on purchase commitments relate to those products was booked in Q4 with total amount of RMB 985 million. Excluding this impact, the vehicle margin in Q4 was 13.5%. So compared with the last quarter, the decrease results from the change of product mix especially more ET5 sold in Q4 with lower gross profit margin. And for the forecast of gross profit margin in 2023, I ask William to help explain. Okay. 全年来讲的话呢，我们认为这个在这个 Q4 或者说全年吧，那个 Q4 吧，我们认为爬升到18到20个点的一个毛利，我们还是有信心的。当然几个方面的影响，一个的话呢是我们的产品组合，因为我们从 Q2 开始的话，我们的相对来说高毛利一些的产品会陆续的交付。那么第二个来讲的话呢，是这个你也谈到的这个锂价和原材料价格的一些下降啊，包括芯片成本的一些下降，那么这个对我们的影响还是比较大。那目前来讲的话，我们看到碳酸锂最近的话呢，在比较快速的下降啊，我们也看到了市场上一般的这个认为的话呢，是包括我们前2天我们也刚刚跟很多上游的材料的公司做了非常密集的交流啊，也了解他们的产能的情况和投产的情况。那么在今年还是有非常多的这种锂的产出啊，这个在今年投产。那么我们也看到需求的话呢，肯定不会像去年那么强劲，这个去年确实是超过了大家的预计。所以总的来说，我们认为在 Q4 是有机会下降到20万，甚至于比它更低的碳酸锂的这么一个价格。那么第三个当然也是我们认为从 Q3 开始，我们的这个整个的交付量会显著的上升，因为我们在 Q2 的话，我们的新产品都会陆续的交付。那么随着这个销量和交付量的上升的话，我们很多固定的成本的分摊啊，也会能够得到很好的一个改善。所以总的来说，我们认为回到18到20个点的一个毛利的水平，是我们追求的一个目标，我们认为也是有信心实现的。
So for the gross margin for the full year of 2023, we are confident that in the Q4 of 2023, the vehicle gross margin will go back to 18 to 20% due to several factors. The first one is our product portfolio. Starting from the second quarter of this year, we are going to start the delivery of vehicle models with higher vehicle gross margins. And the second factor is, just like you mentioned, recently we have witnessed the cost reductions of the raw materials, including the lithium carbonate, chips, and other commodities. So we believe that this will also contribute to our vehicle gross margin improvement in this year. Especially when it comes to the lithium carbonate cost, we have witnessed significant cost reductions. We have also engaged discussions with the upstream companies in the battery supply chain. We understand that there are some capacities reserved for the lithium carbonate this year, and starting from this year, we're going to see more output from the upstream capacities. At the same time, considering the market demand, we believe the demand probably is not going to be that strong compared with the past, but if we balance the supply and the demand regarding the lithium carbonate, we believe probably in the fourth quarter of this year is quite likely the lithium carbonate cost will go down to probably around 200,000 RMB or even lower. The third factor we believe is that starting from the third quarter of this year, we're going to start more product deliveries. This is mainly because more new products will be delivered to our users starting from the second quarter of this year. So we believe with the ramp up of the vehicle deliveries, the amortization rate of the fixed cost will also improve. So our target still remains that we can achieve the vehicle gross margin of 18 to 20%, and we're very confident that we can achieve that.
我想补充一下，一季度我们还是会面临比较大的压力，因为一季度对我们来说还是一个转换期。大家也看到了，我们的销量的话呢，也在一个转换期，因为我们要这个等着这个切换到第二代平台。另外一方面的话呢，现有的我们这个已经生产出来的这样的一些866的车型啊，那我们为了这个补贴这个国补的退坡啊，还有我们展车的一些清库啊，我们有一些金融贴息这方面的一些政策， 那么对短期毛利是有影响的。还有一点的话呢，就是我们 F1 的工厂，因为要为866新的第2代车型的生产做准备，所以总的来说，F1 工厂在1季度的产出也是比较低的。那么这个对于我们整个的单车摊销也会有一些影响。所以包括我们产品组合，因为1季度的交付主要是 ET， 它相对来说毛利率也会低一些，所以1季度的我们的毛利率的压力是比较大的。
So for the first quarter of this year, we believe that we're going to face more pressure on the vehicle gross margin, considering the overall situation. Because this is a transitional period for the company when it comes to the vehicle sales, because we are transitioning into a new technology platform for our product portfolio to the NT2 2.0. So it means that for the existing generation of the ES8, ES6 and EC6, we will need to have some measures to accommodate the subsidy reduction as well as some subsidization of the show cars. At the same time, when it comes to the production capacities, because we need to prepare for the launch of the new generation ES8, ES6 and EC6 in our factory 1, so we need to do some modifications of the toolings of the production lines. This has affected the output of the factory 1 in the first quarter, which resulting a higher vehicle cost for of a product. So at the same time, when it comes to the specific quarter, that is the first quarter of this year, we will also see that the ET5 contribute as a large portion of the overall vehicle delivery, which will also affect our vehicle's margin in the first quarter.
Thank you, Tim.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much.
The next question comes from Ming Zun Liu with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
威廉还有各位领导你们好。那谢谢让我提问了。那我这边也是2个问题。那第一个问题呢是关于就是这个费用的指引，因为记得上个季度那个时候威廉应该有提到就是希望未来还是每个季度希望能够在这个 R&D 能够控在30个亿左右这样的一个金额。那不晓得就是管理层现在有没有比较新的整个一个 OPEX 的一个指引，因为刚才管理层也提到说今年的一个目标也是要增加这个运作效率。那想了解一下sales and marketing， 然后还有 R&D 这边的一个费用有没有一个新的指引。So my first question is related to operating expense. So in the past you William mentioned that R&D per quarter is expected to be around 3 billion RMB. But this quarter we saw that the expense is close to 4 billion. So we want to understand if there is a new guidance for sales and marketing as well as R&D expense. 谢谢，这是我第一个问题。
I mean, this is Danny. The guidance for R&D expense, I think we keep this guidance, and our average base for each quarter of 2023, we will the non-GAAP R&D expense will be around 3 to 3.5 billion RMB. So that's for R&D expense, and for SG&A, as mentioned by William, along with the start of user delivery of our new NT2 product in Q2, we think our sales efficiency will be improved gradually, and the ratio of SG&A versus sales revenue is expected to drop significantly. So that's for the first question. Thank you, Ming.
我补充一下，就是我们在 SG&A 的时候，因为我们会把欧洲的这个投入都是算在里面。欧洲整体的，它现在销量还是很早期投入是一个初期，投入量会比较大一些，所以有时候看我们这个效率的时候，可能也要把我们在全球市场进入方面的考虑进去。
Just to add to Stanley's point, regarding the SG&A, because we also need to consider the investment for the European market. For the European market, right now we're still at a relatively early stage in terms of the vehicle sales and the deliveries. We believe that this is more like an investment period for our global market expansion.
谢谢。那我的第二个问题呢是关于这个产品投放，那想确定一下，因为今年的新车主要就是866 EC7 跟 ET5 的列装版，那想确认一下，目前这个 EC6 新的 EC6 跟 ES6 的话，它会是在跟ES8 差不多的时间，也同时准备交付嘛？那另外也想要再确认一下，像我们目前的这个ES7 跟 ET7， 那今年会不会也有一些这个小改款或者是小的 upgrade， 把这个去年的这个版本做一个小的升级？那另外可不可以请William 这边可以简述一下包括明年的一个新车 pipeline， 包含第二品牌？谢谢。So my second question is related to product pipeline. So this year you will have a new ES8, ES6 and the EC6, EC7 and ET5 wagon version. So what will be the time for ES6 and the EC6 to be delivered? Besides that, for ES7 and the ET7, will you have a facelift version to further improve your autonomous driving function as well as smart bidding function? Meanwhile, could you also elaborate your rough product pipeline for 2024, include the second brand? 谢谢。
谢谢。今年2季度的话呢，我们这个是会按照目前最新的计划，我们会交付4款车啊，当然这里面包括这个 ES6，当然是我们最重要的车型。那么我们在7月份还会交付这个今年的第5款车，所以呢，这比我们原计划呢稍稍晚1个月，因为原来我们的计划是2季度要交付5款车，但我们后来认识到这个还是需要给到这个每一款车稍微多一点的时间啊，保证上市时候的这个品质啊，包括这个上市时候的这个营销的节奏。那其他的当然产品持续的迭代改善，这个都一直是我们在做的，这个我们会及时的跟市场去交流。那明年的产品节奏现在还太早了，我们还是先把现在这几个月交5款车，这个压力已经很大了，我们还是先把最近的这几款车交好。但我能说的是，未来的产品规划一直都是非常的严谨和非常的按照计划去推进的。所以我们当然从目前来讲的话呢，按照我们的节奏和计划推出，包括新的品牌、新的产品，这个我们的节奏就是按照自己的节奏在前进的，所以目前都是按照计划在推进的。
Thank you for your question. Actually, for the second quarter of this year, we are according to our latest plan, we expected to launch 4 new models, including our most important product, probably that is the ES6. And in July, we plan to deliver the 5th model. Actually, this is a little bit late compared with our previous plan, because our previous plan is that in the second quarter of this year, we are going to deliver all the 5 new models. But we realized that probably it's better for us to have some breathing room between different product launches, so we can probably ensure much higher quality of the products and also make sure the teams have a much better pace for the product deliveries and sales. In terms of the product upgrades, we have been continuously making product improvements, and we will keep the market informed if there's any kind of update. When it comes to the product launch cadence for the next year, I think probably this is not the right timing for us to share those information, because right now I believe the teams are facing tremendous pressure with after we can deliver the 5 new models this year with very high standards. But all in all, we have our own pace and our own schedules when it comes to our new product launch and also our new brand. And in terms of the product launch cadence and of a new brand, everything is on track according to our plan.
Thank you, Ming. Thank you, William. Thank you, William.
The next question comes from Wang Bin with Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I actually got two questions about guidance. Number one is about volume. For full year, still maintain the guidance for 250K, because given that recently the price cut by the competitors in the first quarter delivery, you actually earlier phase off the product. So would you actually maintain the full year volume guidance about 250K? Number one. Number two, you actually mentioned earlier the number 4 quarter for NIO brands that alone will be turned around to profitable. Given a change in the external competition, do you actually maintain the same guidance? Thank you.
对，我们从全年来讲，我们相信我们今年的这个目标是能够完成的。我们这新产品交付了以后，我们对需求还是非常有信心的。基于3个方面，第一个当然是我们今年上半年我们会交付，今年我们会交付5款全新的基于 NT2 平台的产品。那么我们整个的产品都会切换到这个新的平台。对于这个应该说进入一个比较强的一个产品周期。那避免两代产品同时卖还是很重要的，对于我们一线的这个效率也能提升很多啊。这个和去年 Q4 和今年 Q1 的情况是很不一样的。第二个来讲呢，我们这说的产品切换，我们产品切换完了以后，我们是能够覆盖 BBA 80%销量占比的这样一个主销车型，而且我们在各个细分市场从产品的优势的角度来讲的话，都是非常巨大的，都是碾压式的，这是第一点。
For the full year of 2023, we are confident that we can achieve our targets. After we complete our product deliveries, we believe we will see some upside momentum for our vehicle deliveries. For this year, we are going to deliver 5 new products based on the NT2 technology platform. After all of our product portfolio transitions to the NT2 platforms, it means that we are going to enter a very strong product cycle. We believe that this can actually improve our team efficiency much better because the teams don't need to sell 2 generation products at the same time. After we transition all the product portfolio into the technology platform 2.0, we believe we are going to cover probably 80% of the mainstream vehicle models for the BMW, Audi, Mercedes, and when you compare our products with their products, we believe our product competitiveness is much stronger.
第二个增长的动力呢是我们的这个充换电体系你们应该也看到了，我们今年要新增1000个换电站那么我们想这个也是会给我们进到更多的市场，比如说3、4线的城市，提供了一个动力这个是非常重要的。那我们现在去年我们到目前为止，我们一半的用户50%多以上的用户分布在上海、江苏和浙江这3个省市。那么从另外一方面来讲的话呢，也能说明的话呢，我们还有巨大的这个市场空间等着我们去拓展。所以我们今年的这1000个换电站，不光是补充现在的用户的这样的一些体验更多的还是对这个进入更多市场的这样一个支撑。
The second driver is going to be our charging and swapping network. This year, we plan to deploy additional 1,000 power swap stations to cover more markets. Especially, we believe that this is going to help us to boost our demand in the tier 3 and tier 4 cities. Probably some of you know that for our current vehicle deliveries, over 50% of our vehicle deliveries happens in Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang. So at the same time, if you look at the overall vehicle delivery landscape of those products, it means that we have a huge potential to explore in other cities and the regions. So we believe with the deployment of the additional 1,000 power swap stations, we can cover more users and also improve the experience of the existing users, which can also support our vehicle demand growth in other different cities and regions as well.
第三个增长的动力来自于我们在NT2 平台上的这样的一些软件的逐步的这个功能的释放和更加成熟。我前面也讲到了，最近一周我们 NOP Plus 的使用里程就超过了175万公里。那我们因为所有的车都是标配的这个算力和这个传感器，那这个数据闭环的这个优势是巨大的啊。我们已经在很多第三方测评里面，我们的这个 NOP Plus 都是取代第一名啊。那我想这一点包括还有其他的这个我们 NT2 平台的这样的一些，包括座舱啊，包括音响这方面的一些体验，都是逐步的完善。我们相信这也是能够极大的增加我们的产品竞争力，因为我们的一些同行，他们都选择的是这个选配的这样的一些策略，就是标配的这样一个策略。那我们从这个今年随着更多功能的释放，这个会极大的增加我们产品的竞争力。
At the same time, when we look at the software features and functions that are planned to be released on the new technology platform 2.0, we believe it will also contribute to other vehicle demands. Just like I mentioned in the recent week, the engaged mileage of the the NOP Plus beta is over 1.75 million kilometers. All of our products come standard with the strong computing power and the sensor suite. So this actually provides a huge foundation for us to have a closed loop data management. If you look at all the tests by the third parties or by the professional medias, NOP Plus beta ranks the first in all those tests. So we believe together with other improvements in terms of the digital cockpit and as well as the audio systems and other softwares and features in our product, this will significantly boost the product competitiveness of our products, because when you look at the competitors or the peers in the market, most competitors, they offer those functions and features as an option, but for us, because everything comes as a standard, so it means that we will have a huge room to upgrade the experience of our users.
所以综合来说，我们的目标还是按照全年去翻倍的这样的一个目标啊，对这个还是非常有信心的。至于说到整个盈利能力的问题，这个当然跟毛利率，因为我们的费用相对来说是固定的，这个跟毛利率当然是高度相关。那如果这个原材料的价格按照这个目前的这个趋势是能达到我们的一个预期的下降的速度的话，我们仍然认为我们在今年的 Q4 不考虑我们的一些创新业务的投入，因为这个和我们当时这个制定这个计划的时候相比的话呢，这是我们新增加的一些投入不考虑到这些创新业务的投入的话呢，我们仍然是按照在今年的 Q4 我们的这个可比业务去实现这个盈利实现 break even， 还是按照这个目标去制定的。
In a nutshell, our target is still to double our volume in this year, and our teams are quite confident to achieve this target. When it comes to the profitability, this is closely bundled together with the gross margin. So if the raw material cost reduction can meet our expectations, like I explained before, then for the fourth quarter, we believe this probably can still achieve the target that we set before. But when we made the plan to become positive, we didn't consider the strategic new business investment. So it means that for the fourth quarter of this year, our target is that put aside the investment for the strategic new businesses. Our new brand, the main business of the new brand, can still achieve break even.
Thank you. Thank you, Bin.
Thank you so much.
The next question comes from Yuqing Zhang with HSBC. Please go ahead.
Thanks, team. Yuchen here. I got two. First on ET5. We noticed order book contraction on this flagship volume model ET5. How would the management look at and stabilize the monthly sales volume on ET5 to 10K per month? What's the key driver to support? Is it broadly a sector demand related or any specific service network expansion supported? The second question is on lithium to margin. The lithium price is correcting. We talked about before about 100K RMB per ton price correction, roughly release 2% margin. So roughly we might get 4 to 8% buffer this year. Can we keep them all, or we might have to pass some to the consumers given the universal pricing pressure? On that notion, will us take the cattle still to get lower lithium price, but to lock up more sourcing share with them? Thank you.
谢谢。总的来说的话呢，我们如果去看我们 Q2 或者说今年我们的 NT2 的产品都发布了以后，你可以基本上来讲把我们的产品分成3个聚类。第一个当然就是我们的主要的这个销量包括你说的 ET5 包括我们 ES6 当然 ET5 我们会和 ET5 的偷润，当然大家也都已经知道了虽然我们还没有正式发布，这个我们会combine在一起。我们认为ET5 加上 ET5 的偷润和 ES6， 我们的目标是希望能够实现2万一个月的销量。我们认为这个市场的容量是足够容纳我们制定这样一个目标的。那么在这个上面的话呢，我们当然会有一些销量的贡献的一些车型，比如说 ET7 ES7 ES8。那么在这次车的话，每款车差不多是2000到4000台之间的这么一个所以加起来的话可能差不多是在1万台左右，8000到1万台左右。那么如果再去看的话呢，再往上一些就是我们一些锐化我们品牌的这样的一些车型，比如说我们的 Coupe SUV EC7 EC6 这样的一些车型。那么这个当然这个它主要是表现我们在设计在品味这方面的一些追求的那有一些比较追求个性的用户比较喜欢这样的车，那我们当然希望它能多卖一些，但这个当然它会小众一些那差不多是1-2000台一个月的销量。所以总的来说结合在一起，我们认为我们现在的产品组合是能够支持我们每个月的销量超过3万台，是足够支持的。
Thank you for your question. Starting from the second quarter of this year, we are going to gradually launch and deliver all the products based on the new technology platform 2.0. When it comes to the total product portfolio, we can look at them into 3 different dimensions. The first one is the volume driver, that is the ET5, ES6, and the ET5 Touring that we haven't released, but I believe everyone knows. So if we combine the ET5 Touring and the ES6 together, we believe is possible for us to achieve 20,000 units per month if we consider the addressable market. When it comes to the second dimension, that is the volume contributor, that includes the ET7, ES7, and the ES8. We believe for those models, each model can achieve a delivery volume around 2,000 to 4,000 per month. And if we combine them together, then for this volume contributor segment, this probably can contribute 8,000 to 10,000 units for overall vehicle delivery and sales. For the third dimension, that is the brand shaper, that is our coupe SUVs, the EC7 and the EC6. Because the coupe SUV is a relatively niche market, and we believe that this can probably help us to better showcase our brand design taste, and for those users who would like it to be different and they want to show off their taste and their sense of design, then probably they can choose this brand shaper product. Of course, we hope to sell more products including the brand shaper, but this is a relatively niche market segment. So we believe for it's the brand shaper, that is the EC7 and the EC6, probably the volume is around 1,000 to 2,000 per month for each product. So if we look at the complete product portfolio of all those products, we believe those strong product portfolio and diversified product portfolio should be able to support us to achieve a volume of 30,000 units per month.
Okay, Chen, this is Steven. I would like to answer your second question about the lithium price. First, we totally agree that our GP margin is very sensitive to the lithium price. As you have mentioned, if the lithium increased by 100,000 RMB per ton, our GP margin can be boosted by as far as 200% point. So that means we expect or we believe this year there's a good chance that the lithium company price will trade to around 200,000 RMB per ton, and that will translate a good GP margin elasticity for NIO. And if you look at the lithium company price, in the past it was just like around 100,000 RMB, and then it peaked around 570,000 RMB in November 2022, which increased the whole EV industry. And then from the beginning of this year, the lithium company price has already retreated to around 400,000 RMB per ton. Looking forward, on the supply side, as several battery suppliers invested in the upstream raw material efforts, and these efforts start to yield meaningful lithium company supply from the second quarter of this year. So from the supply side, we do see a stable increase. On demand side, yes, last year, the China's EV sales volume almost doubled. But if you look at this year, a good estimation is around 30%. So we expect the gap between the supply and demand will reduce significantly, which will lead to a lower and more reasonable lithium carbon price around 2,000 RMB per ton. Not for the least, when we look at the production cost of lithium carbonate, if you look at the lepidolite product cost, which is around 150,000 RMB, so a lithium carbonate price around 200,000 RMB per ton can offer a good profit room for such lepidolite supply to offer stable. So in short, if the lithium carbonate price will retreat quite a lot this year, and that's good for the whole industry.
Thank you, Chen.
The next question comes from Paul Gong with UBS. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my questions. Two questions. The first one is regarding the latest sales trend of ES7 and ET7. I understand that the 866, these remodels are phasing out. That is a temporary weakness before switching to the new platform. And I also see you have put a lot of the expectation on the NT2 platform products. But what has been driving the weakness of the ES7 and ET7 recently? Is it due to the immediate hangover effect of the subsidy cut, or is it due to the supply chain bottleneck, or is it like capacity allocation to ET5 that has cannibalized the ES7 and ET7 sales? So what has been the reason for the recent weakness of these two new platform kind of flagship models? My second question is regarding the efficiency improvement. I think William has spoken internally beginning of this year regarding the key effort of efficiency improvement in 2023. So what has been the key area that you want to improve? We can still see you invest a lot for the future, including the 1,000 battery swapping stations to be deployed for this year, including the expansion and new house in Europe. But where can we find the efficiency improvements, and that's the expense ratio or reduction for rest of this year?
谢谢Paul。我们看今年的1月份、2月份的话呢，确实市场的需求还是，特别是纯电的这个需求还是受到了一些影响。那大家如果去看的话呢，当然我们的同行也都早都已经发布了1月份交付数啊，都是有些压力的。当然很重要的一个原因呢，还是因为这个去年这个到年底，因为这个中国的补贴是到了去年年底就彻底的退坡了啊。那也就是说今年是完全没有补贴了。那么我想这个对每一家来讲的话呢，都会有一些短期的影响。那当然对我们的影响呢，相对来说会少一点，因为毕竟我们整个的车的这个 MSRP 还是相对来说比较高啊。那我们这个补贴对这个影响，这个是相对来说小一些吧，但是它还是会有影响的。那如果去问我的角度来讲的话，我们从2月份开始，还是每周都能看到需求的这个不断的增长啊。包括在 EST 和 ETC 上面，和今年1月份相比的话，那么它的需求我们能看到每周都是在这个都在增长的过程中。所以总的来说的话呢，我觉得 EST 和 ETC 在它所在的市场仍然是非常有竞争力的啊，我们对它的长期需求是有信心的。当然短期确实会有点压力，这个我们认为包括跟春节，包括跟这个季节性的影响，包括跟补贴退坡啊，当然也可能会受一些宏观的经济的一些影响，都会有这样的一些影响。但是我们看到的好的地方就在于，从2月份开始，我们能看到这个需求是每周比每周都要更好一些，所以总的来说我们是有信心的。
Thank you, Paul, for your question. We can see that for the first 2 months of this year, the market demand is not that strong, especially when it comes to the demand for the BEV. We see this has suffered some impact. But if you look at all the peers, I believe most peers have published their delivery results for the first 2 months. This is actually affecting everyone in the market. I believe a very important factor is the subsidy cuts. Starting from this year, there will be no more subsidies, and this will create some short-term effect on everyone in this market. But when it comes to NIO specifically, because we have a relatively higher MSRP, so this impact on us is actually relatively lower compared with others. Starting from the February, we can see the demand is recovering week by week, including the ES7 and the ET7 compared with January. So for the ES7 and ET7, we can see that in their specific segment, they're still very competitive. So we are very confident when it comes to the demand for the ES7 and the ET7 in the long run. But in the short term, yes, we are facing some pressure. I believe that there are multiple factors we have to consider, probably like the Spring Festival and the low seasonalities of the auto market, as well as the subsidies or other micro environments. But still, we are very confident with our product competitiveness in their specific segment.
那么在效率提升方面，这个确实是我们今年的一个工作的重点。因为去年来讲的话呢，我们的人员扩展也非常的快，那我们有很多项目开展，这个很多项目开始这个进行投入。那今年对我们来说的话呢，我们倒不是说是要去削减项目，削减人员或者说关停项目，我们更多的还是把人效要提高，就是同样多的人，我们要有更高的产出，更高质量的产出。那不管是在研发，还是在销售，还是在管理方面。那另外一方面的话呢，我们也会去
重新的去看看我们这些项目的优先级包括这个研发，还有包括一些固定资产的投资，我们会更去评估这个时间的这个优先级，我们包括投资的一些优先级。那么这个也是我们在节奏调整方面很重要的一个方向。所以总的来说，我们效率的提升更多的是在产出的质量，还有包括这个优先级方面。
Yes, actually the efficiency improvement is the most important task for NIO this year. Last year, because of the project progress and we have multiple projects ongoing in parallel, so the human resources increase is much faster compared with the past. But when it comes to the efficiency improvement, we are not talking about cutting projects. We believe that the efficiency is more about improving the efficiency per person. We can improve the overall efficiency of the whole organization when it comes to the R&D, sales and service, and also management. At the same time, we also need to do some prioritization of a different kind of a project, including the R&D projects and also the capex investment. So it means that we need to look at the priority in terms of the timeline and also the investment. So all in all, the efficiency improvement will more focus on the output and the quality of the output as well as the prioritization.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
The next question comes from Nick Lei with JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
谢谢让我问问题，我就两个比较简单的战略性的问题。第一个是有关电池的问题，第二个是财务的问题。那电池的问题的话，我想请教一下，我们跟 CATL 这个采购合约会不会从去年就可能是随时调整？那市场上有比较多的讨论说会跟 CATL 会签一个比较中长期的合约。我想知道说，我们跟 CATL 这个签约的模式，在未来中长期会不会有些比较重要的改变？那同时间在电池的问题上面，可以跟我们 update 一下那个我们半固态电池什么时候会在产品会发表会看到，这是第一个电池的问题。第二个问题就有关刚威廉提到说，今年4季度不考虑新的业务能够 break even。那我换个方式来看这个问题，我们的新的业务就是这个 mass market 的 brand， 可能包含一些手机等等，它的投资的量级就是当然我知道可能没有，只是它的这个 investment 的这个或者相对 capex size， 我们该怎么去考虑这个事情？就是把这个全部考虑的话，我们整体的 break even 是会在哪一年2024、25、26还是提供一些方向让我们参考。Let me translate my question very fast. The first question is about the cooperation agreement with CATL and the pricing arrangement with CATL, and also an update on semi-solid state battery. And secondly, can we talk about the potential investment side for new initiatives? Thank you.
好，谢谢 Nick。我们这个今年的话，当然我们会一方面会引进新的这个电池的这个合作伙伴，我们在今年这个3月份吧，我们应该是最近的话呢，我们和这个中航的合作的这个电池包就会上线啊。那么当然我们和宁德当然会保持一个长期的战略合作的关系。那么我们也在跟他们讨论一些新的价格的机制啊，当然还没有签署最终的协议，但是从方向上来讲的话呢，我想电池公司也是认识到这个必须和这个汽车公司一起去承担这个电池材料的这样的一些价格的这样的一些波动。那当然我们还在跟他们在讨论的过程中。半固态电池我们还在努力的量产的过程中啊，我们也派出我们自己的电池团队帮助我们的合作伙伴加快量产。但我也非常希望找一些这个能够提供给我们的用户，还需要点时间还需要几个月的时间吧。
Nick, thank you for your question. For this year, we will introduce new battery partners. I believe probably around March, we're going to launch new battery packs in collaboration with CATL. at the same time, we will also keep our long-term strategic relationship with CATL. Right now, we're in discussion with CATL in terms of the new agreements, but we haven't signed the agreements yet. I believe that the discussion direction is basically that the battery companies will start to work in parallel with the auto companies, and we are going to share the volatilities of the raw material cost together throughout the supply chain. When it comes to the semi-solid battery, we have a sense of battery teams to help our partners in the semi-solid battery make sure they can have a smooth mass production for the batteries. But we're really sorry for the delay, but probably this will be available. We estimate this will be available probably after several months.
第二个问题就是我们新业务的投资规模，总体来说的话呢，全年差不多是4-5亿人民币的这样一个投资的规模，那么每个 Q 的话呢，就是超过10个亿人民币吧，总的投资规模差不多是这样。那当然，从我们总体的一个目标的角度来讲，我们仍然是希望实现在明年整个公司能够 break even 的这样一个目标，这仍然是我们的一个目标。
Regarding the investment for the strategic new businesses, for the full year, we estimate that this will be around the 4 to 5 billion RMB. So if we break it down, then it means that probably around 1 billion RMB every quarter.
I think I just need to make my own NFT minting site.